Hey YouTube, what's going on? Abyssalwave here, and today I'm going to just do a short little video talking about the 7.3 Frost DK changes. I've been getting asked a lot lately, so I want to give just my opinion on it. This video is probably not going to be any longer than 9 minutes or 10 minutes. I just kind of want to get my opinion out there on this. Now, disclaimer before I really get into it is these aren't even on PTR yet, let alone live. So them making it to live is very, very slim chance that they make it in their current iteration. However, let's get into it. So I'm going to put all the changes up on the screen right now, and I'm going to go over them. So actually, I'll just put up the first three because they broke it up into chunks too. So first off, the first changes are all damage abilities increased by 27%. Hungering Rune Weapon has been switched with Glacial Advance. So, you know, that's a huge change because Hungering Rune Weapon is now going to be on the same tier as Glacial Advance. And also, Breath of Sindragosa damage has been increased by 10%. Now, what they're going for here is they're going for less talent synergy with Breath of Sindragosa in order to shorten the duration and pack more damage into that duration. And that's a reasonable goal because that's what it should be right now. Breath shouldn't be going for a minute at times. It should honestly be a 30-second period because mechanics really fuck over Breath of Sindragosa. Am I right? Come on, if you get... What's a mechanic in Tomb of Sargeras that takes you off the boss for melee? If you get the Tormented Thing on Demonic Inquisition, or you have to hide behind a pillar on Goroth, or even just get Crashing Comet, there are a lot of mechanics that completely fuck you over and are going to end your breath if you're going for a 45-second to a minute-long breath. So it's reasonable to have us pack more damage into our breath and shorten the duration in the process. However, some of the methods they're using to go about that, in my mind, are incorrect. So let's get into more of the changes. So the next few changes are Murder Sufficiency is going to be where Frozen Pulse is. Runic Attenuation is going to, or Frozen Pulse is going to be where Runic Attenuation is, and Runic Attenuation is going to be where Murder Sufficiency is. So I'll show you what the talent tree is going to look like for Frost DKs in 7.3 if these changes go through. So that is one change. So what they're doing there is they're trying to make Murder Sufficiency and Horn of Winter not be on the same tier, because I'm expecting with the path that they're going with a lot of these changes, that having those two, and even they say this, having those two be able to be taken together is too strong. I don't know what they're thinking there because Freezing Fog is usually taken over Horn of Winter anyway. So curious for me, but you know, I guess they know best. Well, it's a little Blizzard joke there. So Hungering Rune Weapon duration is now going to be 12 seconds over 15 seconds, and it's going to grant us 20% more haste. Now that's obviously to compensate for it now being a level 100 talent as opposed to just a level 58 talent where it doesn't need to be overpowered. Now as a 100 talent, it has to be very strong. And 100 talents are usually your strongest talents. Glacial Advance, am I right? So kind of nice to see that actually, you know, granting the haste is nice. It really is. 20% haste is huge for 12 seconds and also giving you everything that it previously gave you. However, there is one bug fix they talked about where Hungering Rune Weapon will now generate a rune every 1.5 seconds as opposed to 1 second. That was a bug. We knew about that. Them changing that now, I guess it's better late than never, but they should have changed it a long time ago. Murder Sufficiency is going back down to where it previously was, back down to 50%. It used to be 50, then they changed it to 65. Now it's going back down to 50. It's an incredibly strong talent with the Breath of Sindragosa build. What they're doing here is they're breaking up the talent synergy with Breath of Sindragosa by breaking down some of the talents that are just broken with Breath of Sindragosa to make it, you know, not as strong as it previously was, because Burst Efficiency does give you more obliterates, which in turn extends the duration of your breath inadvertently. So changing that down to 50% from 65 does hurt breath's duration, even by a second or two, is still a hit to breath itself. Horn of Winter is now going to be a 45-second cooldown as opposed to 30. That's a good change. Horn is a very strong talent in and of itself. It's not normally run because how strong Freezing Fog is. However, there is a change. I'll just put it up on the screen now that Freezing Fog is now a 20% effect as opposed to 30%. Nerfing Freezing Fog and nerfing Horn of Winter sucks. It does. And also nerfing Murder Sufficiency, which is going to be on that tier. Sucks. So all 3 of those talents in the 57 tier are getting a pretty substantial nerf. Yay! So that's exciting. Cold Tiara's Newfound Will now generates 1 rune as opposed to 2. It's a big hit to the legendary. But to compensate for that, it now causes your Obliterate to deal 10% more damage. That is big. That is fucking huge. Oh my god. If machine gun is a thing, which, come on, let's be honest, we want machine gun to be a thing again. Breath is cool and all, but I want machine gun to come back, because that was a fun build. Icy Talons, Frozen Pulse, Ice Cap, oh, it was just great, man. It was so much fucking fun. I want that to come back. So that legendary, giving you a 10% extra damage onto with machine gun, which is your most damaging ability, is fucking huge. And even if Breath is still the best build in Antoras or in Argus, you know, that's still incredible, because Obliterate is still up there. It's in your top 3 usually, below Howling Blast and Breath of Cidragosa itself most of the time. So having that to an extra 10% damage and still generating you the extra rune is very strong. It is. Let's not beat around the bush there. That's very, very strong. Next talent, or next change, well, talent change, let's be honest, is Icy Talons bonus is now going to be 15% as opposed to 10. Now the reason they're doing that is because they're moving Runic Attenuation down to Icy Talons tier. So buffing Icy Talons and then buffing Shattering Strikes, which we'll talk about in a second, is their way of saying we want them to compete with Runic Attenuation, because Runic Attenuation is a fairly strong talent. Your auto attacks generating runic power is very powerful. So putting it on a tier where the other 2 talents aren't really takeable currently in their iteration with the Breath build is kind of wearing. However, buffing Shattering Strikes and Icy Talons does make it a lot better. Shattering Strikes is going to be 60% as opposed to 40%. Again, a nice change, especially for PvPers, because that's the go-to talent for Frost DK PvPers. So, very nice. Obliteration, duration is now going to be 10 seconds as opposed to 8. It's a huge change. Well, is it huge? It's big. It's not huge, I'll correct myself there. It's a big change to the machine gun build, because Obliteration, it's all right. It's not crazy strong. Making your Frost Strikes proc a killing machine is great and all, but it's not crazy strong. So a 2-second addition onto that is not like Dark Arbiter getting extra 5 seconds. You may compare it to that. However, Obliteration getting an extra 2 seconds, which is an extra Frost Strike Obliterate, just gives you an extra Frost Strike Obliterate. However, an extra 2 to 3 attacks of your Dark Arbiter as it scales and just gets completely out of control with damage, that's going up exponentially fast. It's always increasing in damage as its duration is up. So it's not the same as the buff to Dark Arbiter. However, it is still a nice little buff for Obliteration. And also Frozen Pulse's damage is being reduced by 39%. That kind of sucks. I love that talent. It's such a fucking cool talent. It really is. It makes you spend your runes in order to do damage, but also maintain very low runes in order to continue to do damage. It's such a cool talent. I love that talent. I don't like how they're nerfing it, but it is going to be moving up to the 90 bracket, so it's going to compete with Gathering Storm and Frost Scythe. Nerfing it is not the right choice if that's what they're going for. However, whatever. And I'm going to get a little ranty here, so we're at like the 9-minute mark, so I'm going to go over the 10-minute like I said. However, I just want to quickly sum up everything. What Blizzard is doing is they're trying to make other builds, ergo the machine gun build, viable for Frost DKs, because having one build as your cookie cutter build, your go-to build for every situation, Mythic Plus, AoE, and single target raid bosses, it's not fun. It's boring. It's not engaging gameplay. Just running the same build all the time is just not fun. So giving us some diversity and switching up some talents, because right now with the current talent tree that we have, it's breath all day, baby. It really is. There's no room for improvement with that. Or not improvement, but no wiggle room to change around your talents. So I like their idea. Their process to do it is wrong in my mind. I think just changing up how Obliteration works to be better than Breath and have other talents synergize with it would be nice. However, you may get just left in the same situation where now Obliteration is a cookie cutter build. So hopefully it turns out correct what they're trying to do, and we get a more diverse class or spec, not class, but spec within Frost, because I love this. I love Frost. I do. It's one of my favorite specs in the game. It really is. That and Unholy are two of my favorite specs in the game. That's why I'm a DK, man. Blood right now, I gotta be honest, Blood is my favorite right now. I love tanking Mythic Plus. It's so much fucking fun. Sometimes I even tank Raid. Let's just get that out there. But I hope you guys kind of enjoyed my opinion on this. Again, these aren't even on the PTR yet, so they're subject to change. A lot of things could change before they even come on the PTR, let alone live. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to click the like button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.